Hey, Mr. V, how are you doing?
Je vais bien, Lady Tai. I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Africa Conversation Network, where we explore frameworks for developing Africa potential. I'm Victor Hughes. I'm an organizer at the grassroots, and today's conversation is with Lady Tai, who is an African development enthusiast.
Thank you.
Africa Day 2024 theme was the year of education. And let us look at how we can adopt grassroots knowledge, development models, and inclusive education that can move African continent forward. Can we agree, Lady Tai, that the purpose of public education in Africa is to develop Africa?
Yes, definitely, Mr. V. And Africa at this time needs an inclusive, grassroots impacting strategy that can deliver value on a continental scale very quickly. I see literacy as a good place to start because once an individual is literate, they have the power to chart their own pathway to academic and career success.
Knowing this, let us dive into grassroots knowledge system. Why are they crucial for inclusive development education?
Grassroots knowledge systems are community driven approaches to learning, and they are very important because they draw on existing social structures and utilize local languages and context, and also the practical experiences of the learners. These systems do not limit education to just the knowledge gained through formal education systems. They progressively address the unique challenges faced by the local community and develop efficient solutions. Also, they operate within a multilingual context that acknowledges the diversity of languages spoken across Africa and encourage their use. Local languages must never be banned in learning environments in the name of literacy instruction. I don't think there ever was a justifiable reason for this practice because most individuals can easily be multilingual.
Developing reading skill is, as I see, the first step to improving education in Africa. How can we integrate it into grassroots education?
Yes, developing reading skills is very, very critical. And phonemic awareness is foundational to reading. Phonemic awareness means recognizing and manipulating individual sounds within words, and the literacy curriculum must be focused on this particular strategy, phonemic awareness, at its very foundation by making sure that letter sound relationships are taught to develop reading skills in learners. The Jolly Phonics app is a great one to start with. It is a well structured program for early literacy in the English language at least. And what's more, the app is accessible for free download on Play Store. Then also we can look at integrative activities, interactive activities like shared reading, having reading corners and book clubs for various age groups that will engage learners and build fluency.
As you know, Meditai, formal classroom alone will not reach everyone. What non-traditional method can we adopt to reach the unreached?
A more radical approach is needed to set Africans up for success. So, in order to reach the unreached, we have to look at creating more communal learning spaces by increasing vocational training centers and also making sure that these centers have literacy bridging models in their curriculum for participants to fill capacity gaps. These are centers where practical skills for real world application are taught, and the capacity gaps that individuals have for reading or writing must also be addressed at these centers. Then we can also ask more of our faith organizations. We will have to be like Oliver Twist and ask for more. We do recognize, of course, that the faith organizations are doing a whole lot. But can we ask that they please include literacy classes for all learners of all ages, in their daily and weekly programs? Are we talking about the mosque, the church, wherever people gather together? Let us find a way to include and integrate literacy classes at every opportunity that we do have.
Lady Tai, you have emphasized community involvement. How can we ensure everyone participates?
Yes, community involvement is critical, and we must consider involving the elders, the parents in every home. Every parent must get involved. Faith leaders, like I did mention earlier, the faith organizations are very, very um, valuable in this whole project. And now we also have to look at our traditional chiefs. Our women's groups are very important, and our youth associations. All of these people are essential organizers, and they will be the first beneficiaries if this succeeds. We also have to take time to look around our local community and identify local resources. We've talked about people, we now have to look at spaces and materials for learning. As a community, look around you and itemize these resources. Carry neighboring communities along and organize regional collaborations so that you can always share resources to achieve this common goal and have a shared vision of a more literate region evolving. And ultimately, this would contribute to bonding and unity. Essentially, we have to make sure that the community owns these projects fully. Communities must drive the process themselves, not external experts. No. And they have to create community-led literacy committees. So the literacy committees must be made up of community members who will take the leadership to serve as guardians and sponsors of this project at the grassroots. They must maintain supportive and safe learning environment and culture where mistakes are made freely without the fear of ridicule or the fear of anyone laughing at other people's mistakes. All of these things are what we would have to drive as a community.
Challenges lie ahead, Lady Tai. Now, how can we overcome them?
Yes, first of all, we have resource constraints. That's a major challenge. This can be overcome by the local leaders and chiefs who must now seek partnerships with NGOs, businesses, and governments. We also have the challenge of training needs, which includes equipping educators and volunteers with grassroots strategies for teaching reading fluency and comprehension. We have the challenge of champions. Who are the champions at the grassroots for this cause? We have to raise literacy champions by providing both educators and non-educators with literacy instruction skills and making everyone an evangelist for literacy, spreading the skills and thereby increasing literacy rates among the local population. We also have to demonstrate commitment to the learner's success. Learners of all ages must constantly be assured of the fact that the entire community is rooting for them. As this is demonstrated daily, they gain more confidence in their learning journey. Then there is this major challenge of the shame of making a mistake when learning, especially when you're learning a language that is not native to you. This shame has to be eradicated completely. People have to be able to learn in a safe environment where they can make mistakes and they don't become the butt of jokes. That is very critical. So the shame associated with mistakes must be completely eradicated, and we must build a culture and an environment where people can make mistakes without fear of shame, without fear of being laughed at, without fear of any form of ridicule, so that they are not discouraged, but rather they are encouraged to explore.
Absolutely. And so, we cannot ignore the need to strengthen digital literacy.
No, we cannot.
Equipping students and teachers with digital skills to utilize technology to enhance learning. I imagine that these dynamic approaches will yield impact quickly. How can this be measured?
Yes, so I see this approach as an approach that can give us the minimum viable product of a literate individual who can then be able to chart their own path forward into their aspirations in career and academic learning. So we have to now focus on measuring things like learning outcomes using regular assessments. We use standardized tests, we consider formative assessment and different rubrics to be able to evaluate the results that we're getting from these exercises. We have to track improvements in the reading fluency, comprehension, and writing skills. We have to observe students' ability to recognize and manipulate sounds within words and see how this is improving and how it is changing. Also, on the other side, there is the angle of community participation. We definitely need to measure the growth that we experience in this. Are we having increased attendance? So we have to monitor attendance records at community learning spaces, at the workshops, during the storytelling sessions. We also have to look at the parent-elder involvement. Are we getting more involvement, more engagement from our elders and our parents and the sponsors of these projects? The volunteers are also very, very critical. We quantify the time community members contribute to education programs as volunteers and see how much growth we are recording in this metric. Also, resource allocation is very important. We need to keep detailed records of financial resources that are allocated to grassroots education for accountability and for improved planning. Inventory levels are also important. Are we experiencing increase in inventory levels, or are the levels declining or dropping? Is the infrastructure quality declining, or are we able to make improvements to the environment, the learning environment, in order to make it much more conducive for learning? Also, we have to look at the long-term impacts. What long-term impact can we see? Are we collecting alumni success stories, following up with former learners? How has education or improved literacy led to better opportunities for them?
Lady Tai, how about qualitative data?
Yes, qualitative data is absolutely important too. So we have to collect feedback from students, parents, and educators asking about the perceived changes. What was their life like before the improved literacy? And what is it like today? And also, what was the learning experience like for them? Was it safe? Was it healthy? Did it contribute to their wholeness in any way? Then we have to now document individual success stories, and the challenges that they did face in this learning journey have to be documented and their success celebrated. Collaboration metrics are also important. How many partnerships are we able to now register with the NGOs and local businesses and government agencies? Are we seeing numbers growing in these directions? Those are the things we can look into.
Okay. Well, the individual and communities may not have the capacity to build schools. They have the opportunity through this model to build up individuals and lift their communities to new heights of success.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lady Tai, for sharing your insight.
Together, I believe that we can build resilient education systems in Africa for Africa. Education systems that are homegrown and not imported, and that are focused on solving the peculiar problems of the African environment, one learner, one community at a time. So join us, everyone, on this journey, and let's take Africa to new heights of success.
Thank you.